Nets have decided to not allow Kyrie Erving to practice or play with them until he complies with New York City's COVID-19 vaccine mandate. Coach Steve Nash called it a, quote, difficult but, quote, sound decision. Here is Kyrie Erving yesterday on his IG Live.
You think I really want to lose money? You think I really want to give up on my dream to go after a championship? I get to do whatever I want with this. This is one body that I get here, one God body that I get here. And you telling me what to do with my body, this has everything to do with what's going on in our world. And I'm being grouped in to something that's bigger than just a game of basketball. You know, what would you do? You know, if you felt uncomfortable going into the season when you were promised that you would have exemptions or that you didn't have to be forced to get the vaccine.
So I hear Kyrie, and first of all, in America, no one's going to stick a needle in your arm that you don't want there. And I would fight for Kyrie's right to, you know, not get vaccinated. But of course, there are consequences to anyone's decisions and behavior, and may have to stay home, may not be able to go into a restaurant or go to work. He complained that he was supposed to be able to not get the vaccination, right? But then New York City law changed. What do you want to do about that? Where your team plays, the law actually changed. Because, by the way, vaccine mandates work. People who say they'll be resistant to actually getting vaccinated, when there are mandates, you find overwhelming numbers do get vaccinated. Kyrie also talked about the fact that he is now coming forth with this stuff because he hasn't gotten a chance to comment on it yet. The media is like controlling the narrative sort of thing. Except that he can go on his IG Live whenever he chooses. And in fact, there was a Nets media day. Finally, when I hear players talk about a strategy involving what they're going to do about the vaccines, I would offer that a very straightforward strategy, if you're interested, is you go find a vaccination center and then you get the vaccine, and there's your strategy. The scientific consensus, we had Dr. Fauci on all over ESPN talking about it, is that it is effective and safe. And in fact, the speed with which we achieve herd immunity based on many people getting vaccinated, the majority of the population getting vaccinated, is important. That was also stressed. And so I hear Kyrie. I support his right to do what he wants, but I'm not going to celebrate a decision that is not based.
Even when there isn't a lot of, NFL or NBA or there's Dodgers haven't played the Giants and
that's tonight. That's tonight.
Big one for you, Key.
We'll handle
Big game
that
for you, Key.
We're gonna handle it, man. I'm gearing up. I'm praying. I'm hoping. I'm doing all the things right.
I love when Key gets nervous.
No, I ain't nervous. I'm just.
You gonna start cooking?
We're bringing the right
pacing in the kitchen.
We got the right guy. And I'm eating out tonight. We got the right guy on the mound tonight, and so I think we'll be okay. We'll see. Right. We'll see what happens as we move forward. While you guys continue to reshape your offseason in New York for the Yankees, the Mets, we're going to continue to hack at it up in the Bay Area against the Giants.
Hal Steinbrenner and Brian Cashman, I blame you for this indignity. People have been talking for Kyrie Erving because he has been silent until now. He is now speaking for himself, went on his IG Live. And this is what he had to say yesterday in a post.
I had to stop running away from using my voice and using my platform to, speak on what's true and what's mine. Nobody's going to hijack my voice. Nobody's going to take the power away from me that I have for speaking on these things. And don't believe that I'm retiring. Don't believe that, I'm going to give up this game for a vaccine mandate or staying unvaccinated. Don't believe any of that, man. Like really be aware of what's being said before I even get a chance to be on the podium and speak for myself.
So I want people to hear me and mark this down. I stand by Kyrie. You're not playing this game by anybody else's rules but yours when it comes to your decision process and how you're coming to make that decision. Everybody else has been saying, how come he's not talking? Because he's processing. And for Kyrie Irving, he's allowed the time to process. This is his personal choice, Key. It sounded to me, listening to the IG Live last night and then again this morning, that he understands the consequences that come along with his decision. But there have been a lot of people that have been speculating what Kyrie stands for. Now, somebody can then say, well, he's had optimal time to utilize the podium and to speak his voice. Well, maybe the guy is going through the process of saying, how do I connect with the team? What does the team want me to say? What do I feel comfortable saying? And I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the build up, the climax that has happened allows the voice for Kyrie to be bigger on a bigger platform, because we've been waiting to hear the voice. Kind of like a politician saying, now that I have everybody's attention, now you need to hear what I say. I think that's smart. But Kyrie has the right to make his own personal choice about this decision. People may not like it, but you don't need to like it. It does not matter. This is Kyrie's choice about what he deems he feels important to make his own decision.
You know what?
That's very important to say, Key.
Yeah, that is. And you know what, Jay? He calculated it perfectly, because there's so many people out there, as you alluded to, that wants to speak for professional athletes, especially in this situation for Kyrie. That's why I was never one that stepped out there. I'm going to wait to hear that man speak before I start talking, because I can't just assume that he's going to quit in millions of dollars are there, or he's going to back out on his teammates and he's not going to get vaccinated, or he is vaccinated. All the narratives and all the different things that's out in the universe that people are saying about Kyrie. I don't know Kyrie, so I can't make that claim. All I know is that people say that he's a little different. That may be the case, but I've never heard him say he wasn't going to do this and do that. Now I got a clear understanding based on what he said on his Instagram story, and we all heard it. And now I can say, okay, but I also heard his teammates say that they've already talked to him and they've met as a unit. That is important to me, because that means that they understand that they're on the same page with him, and they're going to move forward in their season, and they're going to allow him and give him the time that he needs with his family or whoever his people are that he needs to make a decision with at the time and place that he's going to take care of the business so he can join the team. Not this, he's this and Kyrie's that, and none of that. I am 100% with him. He wants the time. It's his platform now. He's gotten it. He's given us all the information that he wanted to give us about why he's taking the time to do what he's doing. And in such due time, when he joins the team, if and when he does it, they'll keep playing basketball and he'll join them and try to help them win. That's what the message is to me, opposed to trying to sit there and say that Kyrie wants to pass some money or Kyrie's going to retire. He simply said that's not the case. So that's what I got to believe and take it with face value.
A couple things here. Number one, in America, I would fight for anyone's right to say you're not sticking something in my arm that I don't want there, period. No one's going to stick anything in your arm you don't want there. And if Kyrie's like, nope, this is my body, you're not putting anything in there, I'm with it. And I would fight for that, for, like, no, that's his choice. But there are consequences to your decisions. Mm-hmm. And, for example, if you come into work, an employer also has the responsibility to keep other employees safe. And, if you recall, Dr. Fauci originally with the vaccines, the speed with which we get everyone vaccinated is important. It is a public health crisis. You hear a lot of people saying these are private decisions, okay, but it is a public health crisis. It has an effect on people around you. But Kyrie is absolutely right in terms of his process, his decision. That's a personal matter. But then you don't get to come into work right now. That's the first thing. The second thing is,
Max, you don't get to come into work in San Francisco, in New York.
That's right.
And New York. Okay.
That's right.
But other people get to come into work. I just want to clarify that point for you.
That's right.
Okay.
And in fact, if we had mandates all over the country, many more people would be vaccinated. We'd be in a better position. That's the first thing. That's according to the consensus of the scientific community says that. Overwhelming consensus worldwide. Now, and this kind of like impression that's left that's too controversial to talk about, it's not. There's overwhelming consensus in the scientific community about this. Now, that said, that doesn't mean that someone doesn't get to make a private decision. They do. And it also doesn't mean that Kyrie has to be on everyone else's timetable. He's right about that, too. It's on his, like, wait a minute. Just because the media needs something, because they need something on sports media the next day, I need to make, no. I'll do it when I want to do it. However, there are also consequences to behavior in that sense if you're a public figure. If you're a public figure and you have access to your IG Live any moment you want it, it's tough for people to hear you didn't even have a chance to address this publicly, because you have a chance to address it publicly whenever you want. You choose not to. That's your choice, that's sure. But then it's hard to complain about speculation because, of course, people are going to speculate.
I agree with you on the speculation part. But you also have to understand, and Key,
Yes.
this is just how athletes are built. And naturally, I don't think Kyrie Irving is a politician, man. I don't think, Kyrie held up a piece of paper last night on his IG, and he said, here are all my points that I wanted to get across. But he felt like Kyrie was talking more from the heart. So as it relates to being a politician, I know we have to go, and we'll continue this in the next segment. Like, politicians are very strategic with how they say things. Kyrie was talking more from the heart. And as an athlete, when you hear people say things about you, you take things personally. I'm not saying it makes it right, but it's naturally how you were programmed from the time you've been younger, because that serves as motivation for you. But we'll continue this conversation.
Much more on this Kyrie Irving discussion coming up in a matter of moments. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, ESPN Radio.